Right, going to go for a bit of a walk down to Liquorland for obvious reasons. I don't think I have to join the dots on that one. Nice old day, can't complain. See, when the weather's great up here, it really is superb. Oh, the one thing I did forget to do was probably put on some suntan lotion. I probably should do that. I'm continuing on with the aborted trip I had just previously. Now I've done the slap. Got to respect the environment, and we are in North Queensland, so even though it's still winter, you want to be cautious, especially with my Celtic skin tones. Although maybe I've got some Spanish blood there as well. Well, they said North and West European was the minority of the bloodlines, but so it's probably unlikely, probably more likely to be France or Germany or whatever. Yeah, it's not great. Sort of ties in with the mainly Scottish bloodline, I guess. So, very proud of myself today to get that gardening cart put together. I'm absolutely staggered that the dumping action does work. I thought the frame was all out of alignment for that, but looking at it, it seems to be okay. Even got the tyres pumped up, so it's all ready to go. The only thing I've got to get now is some raised flower beds happening. That would be the next task, and then I can transfer that earth into those flower beds. And what I'm thinking of doing is actually getting some use out of those annoying fronds from palms. They may not have any nutrition in them, but they could work well as a base for one of those planters. So what you do is you put that sort of material down the bottom, and then you put maybe sticks and other stuff above that, and some wood or whatever, maybe cardboard and all that sort of crap, grass clippings, that type of thing. Then you put earth on top of that, and then on top of that you put your mulch. Some people put the organic compost in it, or they put in the fertilizer, cow manure, chicken manure. I couldn't find chicken manure listed today. It's supposed to be very good. I stayed with my parents' place, was down in Clayton, and that all used to be chicken farm area, so the soil was really good. So even though it was sandy soil, it had lots of nutrition in it. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to get my plants will be better. I just attended to them today and split them up, the healthy ones, into their own pots and what have you. I'm just hoping that helps stimulate things. I've also learnt that with leafy green vegetables, I've got to feed them every week. I just checked out the packet for the Thrive, and that's what it said. So I'll do that. Give them every chance to grow healthy. The ones in the ground might be being attacked by insects and whatever, I'm not sure, but they're not doing as well. Definitely the way to grow these things, I think, up here is to put them in planters. Seems to be the best way. Another small victory I had, apart from the gardening cart, that was the big one, because that had been festering for a couple of weeks. The other one, actually the one's been festering longer, but it's a very minor one. But I can never get through on the phone, my landline, which is actually via the internet connection. I always get engaged signals. Now, that could be because who I'm ringing is always engaged. I'm trying to get in contact with Kmart, and there's a high likelihood they would be engaged. I know that GPs are engaged and impossible to get through to on the phone. A friend did call me on the landline the other day, so it's definitely working for incoming calls. So I'd have to assume that it goes both ways. There's a dial tone. It looks like it's dialing, but I just keep getting engaged signals. But what I've worked out is how to actually do the redial. There isn't a redial button on the handset, but what there is a little control button like you'd have on a remote control, the central button. And if you push that, you can actually, or push one of the arrows on it, you can get the last call, the last number that was rung. And then you just got to basically open the line and it'll dial it for you. So I've worked it out. I couldn't find out online though. There was no information on redials. So, yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just normally you'd be able to source basic information like that online, but I couldn't this time. Oh, some dog's going berserk there. Oh, look at him. Good watchdog. They're glad they got a high fence. Boy. So these dogs aren't used to people wandering down here that much. Most people going by cars. Got a good set of lungs there. He's wagging his tail though. See, there's not many really nasty, aggressive dogs around here. I think a lot of them are just bored because their owners, you know, are working during the day. So they'd, yeah. Yes, I had 3 days off the booze and don't regret it at all. I think it was a good thing to do. I like having a few alcohol-free days. Even though I've had quite a few mood swings, and sort of, I think the honeymoon of having the house is sort of a bit over now because reality's hitting with all the work that needs to be done, plus the fact that it's a bit isolated up here. So I've got to really force myself to get out and about because I'm feeling socially isolated up here, so I've got to make an effort. And so yeah, I was down the dumps a bit earlier this week. I've sort of turned the corner. I finally get that quite a bit. You know, I have good periods and then sort of gets into a bit of melancholy for, you know, 24 hours, for instance. I'd hate to be someone who suffers from chronic depression. That must be bloody awful. Because, I mean, I do get out of it. It's not like, it's just normal. People aren't always happy. If they are, there's something major wrong there. Because it's, I mean, it gives you, it makes you appreciate the good times when you're feeling better. But my father had it much worse than me. Luckily, I'm a combination of my mother's and father's genes, because my mother didn't really suffer any ailments like that. But my father was manic depressant. So thank God I didn't get a carbon copy of those genes. Things can always be worse. And it's the old story, if you're feeling down about something, do something about it. Like that bloody cart just sitting there, half completed. I could have just sort of said, woe is me, and just left the bloody thing and maybe even paid one of the painters tomorrow, because Adam's friend does a lot of that construction of flat pack stuff. It's a lot of work for him, a lot of paid work. But I worked it out myself, and I got the $30 off the price because of all the hassles I had not getting the proper assembly instructions. So the seller did the right thing, and I told him I got it done, and I also told him I'd send him the PDF that sort of helped me out. There's only one step it didn't cover, so the designs are very similar to one another, but there was just one difference in this one. There was a couple of holes in the side of the cart, and obviously they needed to be the rear section of the axle to go into that. That seemed patently obvious, and it was, and that was the case, and I got it done. But I'm just not really, that's not my forte, that sort of stuff, so I was quite happy that I got it done. It was quite a buzz actually. So and like I say, if you've got some sort of an issue like the electricity bill, for instance, nothing worse, just letting it fester and not doing anything about it. You've got to basically try to address the issue and find a solution. You'll feel a lot better about it. I mean, it's common sense, but it's true. People can just sort of do the woe is me thing, and it doesn't do you any good. And again, you know, I'm not suffering what they'd call clinical depression, that would be difficult to fight through, because I mean that's something, I think Winston Churchill had it actually, the black dog he called it, and mind you, he deserved a fair dose of it after what he did in Gallipoli with the First World War. It's an amazing career comeback, considering what a bungle that was. I mean, how they ever thought that was a brilliant idea, sending troops on a very small beach with the Turks controlling the high ground. I mean, you know, you're looking at tactics 101 in military terms. That is just a recipe for disaster. So, it's unbelievable. But you know, war is high risk and big mistakes are made. There's actually a documentary that I've been watching about why Hitler lost the war. In other words, said that if he hadn't done certain things, he could have certainly beaten Russia. And well, yeah, just about a lot of things like priorities and sort of racial policies causing problems against what could be a rational military doctrine and things. But you know, people don't act rationally in the theatre of war. It's very, very emotional, high stakes stuff. So it's probably not fair to judge it by the same way you would in peacetime. They are extraordinary times. Yeah, but there's not a cloud. Oh, I was going to say not a cloud in the sky. There are clouds in the sky, but they're having no effect. It's quite still as well. Oh, and I did check Melbourne weather today. God, I've been talking about contrast. 11 degrees top temperature for a nanosecond by looks, and he's hovering around 10 degree top for most of the day. That's the thing about Melbourne weather too. It's it's not just the top temperatures that vary. It's the length of time that those temperatures prevail over the day. And in Melbourne, in winter, that's the killer. It's virtually the whole day. There's never really any warm moments. As a matter of fact, it gets even colder because you have wind chill kicking in. So yeah, I don't miss it at all. Certainly couldn't be doing this in Melbourne today. There's a 15 to 16 degree differential. So you know, that's bizarre. That's just the difference in temperature. Well, top temperature today is actually reasonably cool by our standards, 26. So, but by Melbourne standards today, yeah, it's absolute heat wave. No, it's beautiful weather, and I don't take it for granted, and very happy I'm up here. And on top of that, of course, they've got the lockdowns. Jesus, I mean, and there must be, talk about depression, there must be quite a bit of it down in Melbourne and Sydney. More so Melbourne, probably because the weathers are worse. But I think it's not exactly a barrel of laughs in Sydney either. Yeah, none of that crap here, no masks. You know, the only thing they've got is the tracking app. You're meant to sign into places before you enter, and that's about it. Apart from that, pretty well normal. So yeah, I feel as though I've landed on my feet coming up here. I have no regrets, as I've said many times, and I don't take it for granted. I think we as humans do take things for granted. Oh, the other reason I'm being down a bit too, because I still can't travel, and that is a big part of my life, a big part of the social life for me too. You know, I really have so much better time when I'm overseas. So, I'm trying to distract myself with projects here, like gardening and what have you, but it doesn't make up for the fact that, you know, I can go down to that amazing pub in Saigon, meet people from all different countries, glamorous Vietnamese bar girls serving you. You know, you can't, it's hard to duplicate, and it's cheap as chips. You know, you can't duplicate that. So it's quite frustrating being stuck here, because, you know, normally I'd be spending 2 trips a year over there, at least 2 to 3 months. The last trip was 3 months. You can't do that now though. I mean, it's a bit, well, you can get a 3-month tourist visa, you know, assuming they open up again, because they're having a bad time especially in Saigon. Saigon's getting hit really hard. It was first off Da Nang, and now Saigon's copping it really badly, as is Thailand. They're all having problems. So there's nothing to go to at the moment anyway. Nothing's open. You can't get in the country anyway unless you've got the money to, say, prove you're an investor. Only person I know fits into that category is Johan. He's in Cape Town now. Well, apparently Cape Town hasn't been affected by the food riots like the rest of South Africa, so he's okay. And presumably he's still got his new love of his life with him, so I suppose he's fairly happy. But yeah, things are pretty desperate over there for your average person. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.